I kind of scared my way out of filming this video many times. An opinion on the internet can get a little bit dangerous. In the media and online, and just influencers, whatever you want to call them, have been speaking very recently about the pill. It's been brought to a lot of people's attention that all of a sudden, like, the pill is considered dangerous and the pill gives us depression. The pill makes us somebody we're not. Everyone is losing their crap. I mean, I don't blame anyone. It's completely fine to suddenly learn something that you didn't know before and get a little bit worried about it. But what annoys me most about this is that the people who are freaking out over all these different news articles, doctors as well, can I just say, telling us the stuff that the pill brings you isn't stuff that we knew before, and it's not stuff that people were told when they were first taking it. Whether they were or not and they weren't listening, I don't know. I wasn't there when they had their appointment. But it's sad to me that all of a sudden it's suddenly believable. And I really wanted to make a video on why I never went on the pill, and I still haven't, and I probably don't intend to at this point in time, ever. And that's always been something that is unusual to people. It is so common to be on the pill, and it shocked me actually about how common it is to get to an age where you've started your periods or you've become sexually active, and it's just part of life to go to the clinic and say that you want to go on the pill. Most people were probably told by their mums, or like dragged to the clinic by their own mother or whoever is looking after them. My mum never done that. I knew that I had to start considering what I was going to use and stuff, but it was never something that was rushed on me. I saw my friends saying, oh, my mum's like making me go to the doctors now, or they'd say, when are you gonna go get your pill? And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, oh. So there I was kind of just watching all my friends try different pills out. The majority of them had a lot of bad experience. A lot of them were trying different ones because it just wasn't working for them, or they just felt parts of their personality were changing. A few friends though happened to find the pill was a lifesaver, and they would say, oh my gosh, like, I don't have periods anymore. Basically they said it was an absolute lifesaver for that part of their lives. So in my head I was like, right, if I was to ever be in a position where I am really struggling with my periods, then that is an option. Like, it was always nice to know that there is something there that can help. I mean, it sucks to go through something that is literally inevitable, and I had my period for like, I don't know, not very long, and they do say that the longer you have one for, like, things can change, like suddenly pains can start happening, suddenly it can be a lot heavier. So there I was, like a year into having them, so I was like kind of preparing myself for something bad to happen. I was like, I hear horror stories. Touch wood, like, there's not even any wood near me, let me touch a tree. I never really had any problems. Yes, I get pain, but like for 2 days a month. And then as time went on, I stopped sitting in like the seat of teenagers, and I became an adult watching other adults tell their children, like, it's time to go on the pill now. And it continued to shock me that it was just the way it is supposed to be. And I guess I tried giving my reasons. I guess I tried telling people why it wasn't for me without me even trying it to test to see if it was for me or not. I just knew it wasn't for me because, in my own opinion, the side effects completely made the advantages look like nothing to me. I know obviously it stops you getting pregnant, right? So you should say it doesn't matter what side effects, you should just go on that pill and not get pregnant. Like, that's a big enough reason for you to go on the pill. But to me it wasn't, because the pill is not the only method out there. If it was, then sure, like the fact that I don't want to have kids, the fact I will not have kids if I go on the pill, that's a big enough reason. But it wasn't to me, because there are other options. It's crazy how we're only paying attention now, and I really hope that even if your mum or whoever it is, boyfriend perhaps, telling you that you should do it, speak for yourself and let it be clear what you think would be right for you instead. It isn't the only way, and it's your choice, it's your life. And the idea to me of putting like fake hormones, like man-made hormones, into my body not even just once a month, every single day was petrifying. But the more research I did, actually the more it put me off. Like, it was saying how the pill is supposed to turn you into a pregnant woman essentially, and that's how it works, because that's why it can make people so like stressed and angry and such, because they are technically tricking their body into thinking they are pregnant, and that's how they don't get pregnant. It's weird, I know. Look it up if you're interested. But this video, I'm gonna be discussing the reasons why I didn't particularly want to, and some experience I've seen other people go through. I just want to raise awareness basically. First of all, this was the first thing that I was really strong about in the beginning, and that was the idea of stopping my periods was really freaky to me. I was always taught that having a period was one of the most natural things you can do, even though the idea of having one every month is a bit of a bore. But I wouldn't stop that. I wouldn't want that to stop. And the idea of kind of having that inside me and knowing it's inside me and not coming out was even worse to me. The same sort of idea as why I don't like tampons. I prefer pads because I just kind of want it out of me as soon as possible. Maybe I've got some weird sort of thing to do with blood, but off topic. I just really believe that that is something that's supposed to happen, and overriding my body's delicate hormonal balance isn't worth that. I don't have a good enough reason to do that. Second point is, I've always been a little bit funny about chemicals and hormones and stuff anyway. I don't like the idea that there are tons and tons of hormones in our dairy milk. Like, anyone here who drinks cow's milk, there's tons of hormones in that, and like blood and stuff, but let's not get into that. I got put off eating meat mainly because the idea that they inject stuff into the animals put me off as well. I'm not too big on taking medicine in general unless it's like a really necessary thing to do, even though scientists and doctors will tell you that the stuff that you put in your body from the pill is what your body makes anyway. I mean, for some reason, for obvious reasons, I still think that what we make as humans isn't still the same as what a lab makes. I still don't believe that entirely. The next thing, speaking of doctors, they will tell you probably in your appointment that the pill actually happens to lower your chances of some cancers, and the pill can actually help fight against some cancers. But what they don't tell you is that the pill can equally give you cancer, like other types of cancer. They don't entirely dodge it, because they will tell you if you ask, or some of your doctors might actually have just told you that there is risk, because I think they kind of have to. But everyone kind of thinks, oh, I want to be protected from that now. Like, I've been told that the pill's going to stop that. I want the pill. But what we should be focusing on as well is, you know, the risk that we're giving ourselves when we go on the pill. The pill can increase your chances of breast cancer, and that's by an entire 50%. Like, you can increase your chances of breast cancer by 50% if you go on the pill. This isn't something I'm just pulling out my ass. Honestly, it's everywhere. Look it up. I believe the study is by Fred Hutchinson or something like that. Another thing, when you become a regular user of the pill, your libido goes down and skyrockets downwards. And if you don't know what libido is, it's your sex drive. So you're not going to be as willing to have sex anymore. And I'm pretty sure your partner won't be encouraging you to go on the pill after knowing that one. Maybe the pill actually works more because it puts you off having sex. I'm joking. That's not science. Don't take my word on that one. It probably helps though. Next, the pill apparently has some really serious effects on your bacteria in the digestive system. Basically, it affects your immune system, and your immune system is compromised. So when you eat stuff and you are a regular on the pill, your body just doesn't absorb the nutrients in that food as well as it did before you went on the pill. This next one is actually quite funny to me. So basically, we're attracted to certain members of certain sexes, right? That is due to these things called pheromones. That is what attracts us to certain people. And it is known that the pill can send that a bit out of whack. And you know when people say beer goggles is what you get when you drink so much beer and you end up taking someone home who isn't your type or just isn't attractive to you in any way? That can actually be the case with the pill too. Some people call it the pill goggles or something like that. And it sends your pheromones a little bit crazy. And studies prove how we are not as good at picking a potential mating partner who are good for us People who are on the pill are more likely to take that bad guy home instead of someone who's nice and caring and sensitive and can communicate and is just an all-round lovely guy. And last but not least, I want to touch up upon what I do use then and what I do believe in. So the pill in general can actually kind of put you out of touch with your signs. Everyone has signs that we are supposed to learn about ourselves, which tell us really important things, like when we are ovulating. Ovulating, in short, if you don't know what that is, basically is when the egg is ready to be found by the sperm. So that is actually only one day of the month, a really small amount of time than we think. So we assume, you know, we can get pregnant anytime. We are actually able to understand our bodies a bit more if we were to get off the pill and start listening to our body, because the pill doesn't let us do that anymore. It messes things up a bit and we're not able to do it anymore because we're not in that natural regular routine. This isn't a sponsored video, but I have had an app on my phone called Clue for about 5 years. It has literally been a lifesaver, and I was telling you guys earlier that I never really had problems with my period, and when I say that I mean pain, I mean flow, I mean all the different things, but something I didn't discuss is how regular they are. They've actually been okay. Some people, their periods are so all over the place, they've got to go on the pill, but mine have never been like that. Mine have been pretty regular, not on point, but like regular enough for my app to kind of like predict when my next period's going to be. If you don't know what Clue is basically an app where you can input your dates. It can give you sort of like a representation of what your body's doing, and it's genius. It's gotten to a point where I'm using it less and less because I have learned how I work to an extent where I don't need to look at the app anymore. Like, I know when I'm ovulating, and the reason why I know is because I would get like tiny little cramps in certain areas, like not just in my like middle womb area. I would get it on the left or the right, and that's basically where your eggs hang out, right? So I'd get these weird pains and I'm like, what is this? I look at my app and it's like, you're ovulating, and I'm like, okay, just a weird kind of like circumstance, right? Okay. And then it happened again and again, and it's got to a point where I know, it's like, okay, it's an actual thing. I googled it. I was like, why do I get ovulation pains? It's an actual thing, and it just means that I am ready to have a baby. I'm ready, no, to make a baby, sorry. And that is something I will encourage all women to do. I encourage people to get off a hormonal contraception and hop onto the bandwagon that we're all chaffing about now, which is being more in touch with your body. There's been a lot of talk about whether that is reliable, and from me personally, to just rely on what is actually called FAM. This is something that I've been passionate about for a long time. It stands for Fertility Awareness Method. When you know if your body's fertile and if you're ovulating, you know you shouldn't be having sex now. The minute you're out of that window, it's fine. However, there are a few things to consider. For example, when you've just come off of your period, that is usually when you are still fertile, even though you're not ovulating yet, because sperm can actually live inside you for like 7 days, 5 to 7 days. So if you've just come off your period and you're having sex and you're like, it's fine, I'm not ovulating, well, they can still like hang about, and then when you are, it's like, uh-oh. So I would personally tell anyone to avoid having sex just after your period. 5 to 6, I may even say 7 days, just to be safe before that time you're ovulating. By the way, ovulation is something that can happen in different time scales of everyone, which is why I recommend you get an app that kind of helps you average that out. And I also wouldn't recommend FAM, which is Fertility Awareness Method, to anyone who has irregular periods. I'm sorry, but if that is you, then I still wouldn't recommend you go on hormonal methods, but I would recommend you not. As much as it is a lovely method for me, because my period is pretty regular, it's not spot on, like I said. I mean, if I was to be a day or 2 or 3 late, that's quite unusual. I'm always going to be a little bit early maybe, or on time. So if your period's all over the place, you can ovulate at a wrong time. And imagine if you think you're on the right spot, like you think that you've just ovulated, so you're having sex and stuff, and then you think like, my period's late this month and actually I'm ovulating now. That's where I'm lucky, because I can actually feel my egg moving some months. I'm gross, I know. Some other telltale signs of ovulating though is your discharge can change colour. You can have more discharge around your ovulation time, or like just change consistency, or something about it can be different. And I would suggest around the times where you're not supposed to be having sex, because you're more likely fertile, which is around ovulation, before ovulation by 5 days. Use condoms. Let me know if this talk interested you. Would you like me to talk more about this? Is this something that bored you? I don't know. I would like to know your thoughts. Maybe more discussions on this would be wanted. But I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Follow me on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. Stay unhormonal. I'm going to get so much hate for this video.